Welcome to another episode of Home Life Podcast, a podcast where we share real stories of people who moved away from home, their struggles, their successes, and some of the lessons that they've learned along the way. In this episode, I talked to Chandreyee, an accomplished journalist and editor based in Gurugram, India, who's journeyed across Bengal, Chennai, Mumbai, and Bengaluru, and now works in the business journalism space. We discussed growing up in Siliguri, the bittersweet move from Kolkata, adapting to new cities, culture shocks, career pivots from science rebellion to international opportunities, and the profound moments in journalism reporting, from child marriage stories in remote villages to life lessons in empathy. By the end, you'll get practical insight on finding home in unexpected places, balancing ambition with kindness, and navigating transitions with authenticity and boldness. Enjoy. So I wanted to ask you this earlier, actually. So how do you pronounce your name? Is it Chandreyee
Yeah.
or is it Chandreyee?
No. I know it's a Bengali name. It might sound like that, but it's not. It's Chandreyee. So you can call me Chandreyee also.
Chandreyee.
I've made peace with it because a lot of people have different takes. Like, fine, just go ahead.
What's the proper pronunciation?
It's Chandreyee.
Chandreyee. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna stick with that. I might make a mistake, but we
All's
can
forgiven. Yes.
edit that later.
All right.
So how has your day been? Are you in the East Coast, West Coast, Central Coast, not in the
No.
US? Like,
I'm in India.
you're in India. Okay, so this is night time.
Yes.
Let
Yes.
me
Have you
try
mixed
to
up my
guess.
call with somebody else's?
No. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm going to test my time conversion right now because there we've had daylight saving and I'm all kinds of messed up. So it is 9:20.
No, you're in the wrong
Is it
direction.
9:20?
Let me get that
I
straight. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15 accurately.
Oh, okay. 10:15. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
see, I messed up. I cannot get this time calculation
No, I've
ever,
gotten
regardless
really
of
good
daylight
at
saving
it
or not.
because my boyfriend is in US, so we keep like this whole thing happening, time conversion.
Oh yeah. See, but you have a vested interest in keeping the time conversion.
Yes, that is correct.
Nice. So yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you're from originally?
Okay, so long story. I'm from Siliguri, which is in North Bengal,
Okay.
which is in Darjeeling district, very foothills
Okay.
region. Yes. So
Yeah.
it's a small town, but it's also very commercialized, and it's called the chicken snack of India.
Okay.
Basically, you can, enter the Northeast and Nepal, etc. So that is Siliguri for you.
Oh,
But I was born in Calcutta, uh, technically about 30 minutes from Calcutta. So
okay.
I was there, I think, when I was born for about 2 months. Then my mom obviously moved back. And yeah, I was completely brought up in Siliguri. So my education has been there up until class 12.
Yeah.
After which my journey to move out of house started. So it started with moving to Calcutta for 3 years for my undergrads. Then I moved to Chennai for about a year. Then I spent 3 years in Mumbai when I was working. Then back to home for 1.5 years during COVID, and then in Bangalore for 4 years. And 3 months
Wow.
back, I moved to Gurgaon. Yes, it's been a lot.
Yo, wow. So you've basically, it's like a ping pong, gone back and forth,
Yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth.
it's exhausting.
Yeah. So you're right now in Gurgaon.
I'm in Gurgaon right now. Yes.
Okay. Nice. Um, I've been to Kolkata. So I'm half Bengali.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's side is Bengali. My dad's side is from Lucknow, and
Wow.
I'm born and raised in Pune. Yeah, so I guess I'm a khichdi of everything.
Quite the mix,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, so I'd been to Kolkata once before when I was in like fourth. I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't really. All I remember was getting on the tram That's and the heat. This was in the summertime. But
That
a
time,
couple of
yeah.
years ago, yeah, exactly. And a couple of years ago, I after well, not couple of years ago, last year, me and my wife we got married, and we went to Kolkata together for our cousin's wedding, and that's the first time I could actually take the city in, and yeah, it's such a fascinating city because it hasn't really moved on,
Hmm.
but people complain about that. But at the same time, it's like a lot of people like the fact that it's one of the rare cities that has that old time charm.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I think the culture is very strong, and even though like people like us, we have a lot of complaints. If I'm to be very honest, that there's not many opportunities in a lot of field, which is the primary reason a lot of us to move out. But I think that whole nostalgia about belonging there is very warm, and that's why you keep going back. And I do like remember like taking flights when I was in Chennai or Mumbai, just random flights when I would feel
Yeah.
like one of those off days, and go to Calcutta and just like walk around the city, meet a couple of people who were there at that point in time. And I would do this only with Calcutta. It's not even like I would go back home in Siliguri, right? So that's how the city makes you feel. Like that's the
Hmm.
warmth of the people there. That's something that I really miss.
Yeah, yeah. And like we were in Dom Dom for a while. The wedding
Oh,
was in
okay.
Dom Dom.
Okay.
And my I was with my mom and my mashis and everybody, and they were telling me stories of when they had come to visit Dom Dom in like the 80s, and they're like, it hasn't changed. And the generation before them were telling me stories of like the 50s, and they're like, things haven't changed. The buildings have gotten renovated, like, you know, they've kind
The
of
south is far more renovated and modernized, but the north still
okay.
sort of has that essence of, years ago.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So you said you grew up, or you're born and grew up in Shiliguri.
Yes.
How I guess how often would you come to Kolkata? Would you come to Kolkata from Shiliguri,
Absolutely.
travel back and
Yeah,
forth
yeah.
for
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Because both my mother's and my father's side of the family, so our roots are from Calcutta, which is why I have like too many relatives and cousins out there. So every year I
Uh,
would visit like two, three times, just like that. And somewhere I knew that I have to, move out, and maybe I would sort of find my grounding in Calcutta at some point.
yeah.
So because like I think after class 10, I was very keen on going to Calcutta, and my grandmother was very supportive of it. But my father was like,
Hmm.
oh no, she's like really young. She can't do the big city life right now. So we sort of succumbed to his, decision. Yeah, but after that, I finally was like, no, I'm gonna be headstrong, and I'm gonna move there. And that's what happened. I moved there. And yes, I did have a support system, obviously, because you have your
Right.
cousins if you need anything, uncles, right? But I was living alone for sure. Yeah, I've properly spent about 3 years there, and I still keep going back.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I feel like I'm so as I said, from Pune, kind of a similar mindset. Um, but I think what Pune had, because Pune very much was the second city in Maharashtra behind Mumbai, was basically
Yeah.
the magnet that attracted a lot of people who had dreams, aspirations in and
Me.
around Maharashtra. Yeah, honestly, all over India, to be honest. What Pune had or Pune got later was the whole IT industry. So a lot of people then started moving into Pune. But I've spoken to a lot of people who are from cities that perhaps aren't as big as some of the big metropolitan cities,
Yeah.
and that's a similar story, right? Like after a certain age, it kind of hits you that if I want to do something with my life, I kind of have to leave, and it's a bittersweet moment. I don't was
Yeah.
it a similar moment for you, or were you really looking forward to it, excited?
So I think for me, when I was growing up, I don't know. I think my upbringing was such that I was sort of that progressive mindset was already there, and I sort of
Yeah.
knew the importance of financial independence, especially being a woman. My grandmothers were working even at their time, so I sort of had that in the family. So I knew I had to move out at some point. And as a teenager, you always don't get your say around with things. Because there's like this whole, you won't do this, you won't do that. So I was like, no, I have to move out. So that was there for sure. But I remember when I was leaving home after my class 12, my father surprisingly told me this one thing that it's sounded controversial, but I would just, anyway. He said that now that you're moving out, do not come back here, if not for holidays. And I was like, is that supposed to be
Mm.
encouraging? So,
It sounds like a threat.
yeah, like you're driving me out. um, Yeah, but I think I understand now because he probably knew my personality and he knew the options in the industries I would sort of fit into, and that wasn't there at that point in time in the small town that I was. So he was very encouraging of me for moving out, and yeah, and that stuck with me because I was like, no, I do have to prove a point, and I can't go back.
Yeah.
Even when I got my first job, and I was in Bombay, and of course, first job you have like a lot of constraints and not much money, so you're really like trying to figure things out, and there were a lot of hardships that has happened to a lot of us, when you're moving to a big city like Bombay. And at some point, I think my father also said that, are you really sure you want to continue? You can really come back, take a break, and go. And I was like, no. Now that I'm here, at some point, I have to figure
And
this out. Yeah.
yeah.
So I hung in there, and yeah, life happened.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think dads have their own way of messaging, sending messages, and giving advice and showing love.
Yes. Yeah, but it's
Um,
funny because now, he's like, are you sure you want to stay there? Just come back. So I'm like, no,
there's a
you
flip.
you shaped my mindset like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the same. It's the same here. I'm really fortunate enough to be in the same place as my parents. Not a lot of Indians who move to the US have,
Mm.
their parents as well. So
Yeah.
I moved to the US because of my parents. But
Okay.
I'm fortunate enough to have them like in an hour away. But I think my dad, my mom definitely, but my dad still has that. Okay, it's a weekend. Why don't you guys come over?
Oh,
We'll hang. We'll just,
yeah,
have
family
dinner,
time.
have a couple of drinks, and we
Yeah.
can exactly. And my wife's side of my in-laws as well, they have the same feelings. Why don't you guys come over? We'll just hang.
Oh,
And
cute.
so so it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, they definitely they send you away, and then they're like, okay, now
Mm.
come back.
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah. So
yeah,
first, after 12th, then you came to Calcutta. What college did you join? What was your
yeah.
major?
So,
And
right. So
yeah,
I was in this college called Gurgaon Memorial Girls College, which is Calcutta
okay,
University essentially. And so we do have like our place in Calcutta, but my parents, again, you won't stay alone. You'll stay with someone. You'll party all day. So anyway, so I ended up staying with a friend at a PG, but of course there were
okay,
other people in the PG, and it was a very nice PG. But going from having your own personal space in bedroom, and just waking up in the middle of this room with like three other beds and three other women around you is like a shocker in itself.
yeah,
So yeah, you do have to accommodate to that and adjust. So I was there for I think 2 years, and I moved somewhere with like my own space. Again, moved back there because I was missing the place so much. So all that back and forth happened. Yeah, so I was there, and I was doing my grads in English honors. So
okay.
my journey has been a bit of a haywire. I took up science in my plus two, even though my parents warned me not to. So I was a bit of a rebel in that respect. I was like, no, I'll do well.
But this is kind of a different type of rebellion, because typically I've heard like people not choosing science in
Hmm.
rebellion. You said you chose
Yeah.
science in
Yeah,
rebellion.
yeah. I was very
Interesting.
good in
Okay.
bio, yeah. So I was like, I'll figure my way
Nice.
around with it. But I didn't
Sure.
understand that, you do have other subjects to also sort of, add up
Yeah.
to your percentage. I did fairly fine, I would say, but not as great as I could have maybe. And yeah, so from there I went to do English honors and then journalism. And from there, I had my first placement with a business news channel. So that was again like a whole pivot because of all the people who had gotten selected, I think everybody had like an elective or a background in, say, a finance or something. And for whatever reasons, I made it. So it's been
Wow.
like a lot of like changes there as well. But yeah, Calcutta was great. I think that was probably the easiest part of my livelihood so far. Yeah,
Really? Okay. So you did English honors. That was your like undergrad,
undergrads, yes.
right? And then did you said you right out of the gate got placed
No, no. So
into
I
journalism, or
did my
did you do a grad
journalism.
school?
Yeah, I did my postgrads in journalism
Okay,
from
got it.
Chennai, Asian College of Journalism. I specialized in television, so I was there for about a year. And yeah, so that's how things happened. And yeah, I'd sort of applied all over the country. Yeah. I mostly wanted to travel a lot. More than
Of
giving
course, yeah.
interviews, my agenda was like, no, I have to go to the city.
Let's go.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
my poor dad bought into it.
it's like
But
why do you have one application per state? It's like no
yeah,
reason.
Pune, I went to Bangalore twice. I had an application in
Wow.
Delhi. No, because I think I only traveled in my childhood till class 8, and after that my whole attention was for like the next 4 5 years into academics. So I was like really dying to get out, like let me
Yeah,
go now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, I mean, uh, choosing what you want to do in life is a big step. Um, Different people come to that realization of what they want to do in different ways. You went the journalism route. What happened that made you choose journalism?
Hmm. So I think, I mean, I've always been very structured. Like I knew that, okay, like I knew my, like this is how I want my life to pan out. But
Yeah,
I think my father did not have a lot of confidence, so I had to convince him a bit. So I think I wanted to go into directions like it was either MBA or journalism because I had an
yeah.
acumen for say presentations and
Mm,
I'd done pageants and all of that. I was a little outgoing that way in college, so I knew that academic probably wasn't the right fit for me because I did
sure.
not have that much patience in life to study for that long or maybe teach some people at some point. So the options were, I think, in some sense limited. And from whatever mentorship I had at that point in time, journalism seemed to be the best option. And I started preparing for it, I think, end of my second year or early third year, final year essentially. And so, because there's a lot of applications that you have to go through, tests that happen.
Okay.
So that's how I made my choice for journalism. But then again, that wasn't like my final plan. I think I've always been a staunch advocate for higher studies, and I wanted to specialize at some point. So, and I had made this very clear to my parents, but I was also kind of sure that, I have to, like, now that I have, had their backing so far, I want to do this on my own. So I had, after when I was in my first job, I was preparing for my higher studies in London. And I had only applied, I had shortlisted a couple of colleges, but essentially applied to this one college that I really, really wanted to get into. And I had gotten into that for international relations and diplomacy. But COVID happened, so a lot of plans did change.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that happened. And I saw people coming back. So I deferred the offer by a year. I did. And the next year, I got through this organization in Bangalore. And from what I knew, a lot of people had studied in that college, come back and worked with the same organization. So I don't know if I should take the name, but I was with Reuters. So that's why, I
oh,
was like, yeah. So which is why
nice.
I was very conflicted. Like, I do want to really work with this place, but I also like want to go. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
academics happen at some point, but let's just go ahead with the work life.
I mean, Reuters is one of the most, that is the place that you want to land up in if you're a journalist. Yeah. So I have family who works not in Reuters but Thomson Reuters.
Yeah, yeah, it's the
Um,
same.
Same under the same umbrella, but yeah, no. That's if that's the choice. Yeah, I think you made the right one. So that was in Bombay or Bangalore?
That was in Bangalore. So I was
Bangalore. Okay.
there, and I have had my fair share of learnings and stint, and now I've made a switch.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
So basically, Siliguri to I'm sorry, I'm trying to retrace the
Yes,
step.
it's a
Siliguri
map.
to
Calcutta.
Siliguri to Kolkata, Kolkata to Bangalore.
Chennai. You
Okay.
missed it. Yes.
When did you go to Chennai?
I did my post-grads.
Wait, you did okay. You've done
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many
And there was Bombay
degrees.
also. You missed Bombay.
Yeah, I knew there was Bombay because you mentioned that, and I'm trying to connect. That's why I said I'm trying to connect the dots.
Yeah, I'll
So
make a whole
okay,
flow
so
chart for
let me.
you.
Yeah, yeah. We need you. You said you have good presentation skills. I think I will need a one pager. But okay, Shiliguri, Kolkata, Kolkata to Chennai, postgrad.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
which I want to get into that move because it's whenever I think whenever people move from south to north, north to south, um, there are a lot of stories, a lot of experience, a lot of learnings that happen. Um, okay, but Chennai and then Bombay and Bangalore.
Now you're on the right trajectory. Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So post grad, you've kind of taken a step of moving to Calcutta, which is it's a big step, but it's still in the same state. A
Hmm.
similar culture. When you do make that second step to Chennai, I I can imagine that being a bigger, a little more, um, a step that you take where you're like, okay, eh, now there are new things that I have to face. So how was that move for you? Not so much from an academic standpoint, because that's something that I think you just have to do. You're kind of an
Hmm.
autopilot, just doing things, but
Yeah.
more of the day to day, behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the first thing which was that you're going to live in a state which is absolutely very far from home, and I was going to experience hostel life for the first time. So I had to prepare myself for that. There's going to be people from different regions with whom you have to be nice and cordial and
Right.
make friends. So I did have a huge culture shock. I'm not going to lie, um, but I was also very homesick there for the first time. Even though when
Oh,
I was in Cal, I used to go back twice, not much. But in Chennai, I think within that span of 10 months, I went back home thrice. My mom and my brother came to meet me once. So at this one point, my dad goes like, please don't come back. Get your convocation degree and then come back.
I
So
like your
yeah,
dad a lot.
yeah.
He's like,
So yeah, I think the food was very different. Although I'm someone who's not very
yeah,
fussy about food. But it was different because you had a lot of curd rice and curry patta and different kind of chicken there. Um and even like things are just different there. Even the choice in alcohol is different. People have, yeah, their local brands, etc.
really.
When you go to
Tell
a
me
pub,
more.
it's, yeah, I don't remember because I sort of cut down on drinking. But there was this what was it called? um if I remember, I'll get back to this.
Okay,
But yeah, I mean, speaking about the general culture as well, I think no offense to any people from Chennai watching, but I thought it was, not very in sync with my personality. Chennai as a city, it's a little different
sure.
from what I probably was expecting.
Yeah,
So I knew that even though even if I get a job there, I may not continue. It
sure.
was a nice place. You used to have a lot of rains in December, which was a first for me. I've
Mm,
never experienced those torrential rains in December. Very hot. The language was a challenge for sure because it's not easy to sort of pick up on that, and certain states have their preference over native language, so that
yeah.
was there. prices of groceries were different. So you had to like wrap your head around coconut water costing you this much and not what you experienced back at home. So those sort of things were there for sure. But overall, I think it's not a bad place to be. You probably the most common place for leisure would be to go to a beach. So we used to go to this Basin Tangur beach very often. So yeah, it was not bad, but I think I only survived Chennai because my hostel and my college campus was so multicultural. That
Hmm.
sort of made up for that vacuum in missing out on home.
Sure. Are you are you able to make friends easily?
I think there are phases. I do make friends easily, but I'm also a very ambivert person. Um,
Hmm.
because I think people do find me friendly. I'll give an example because in my undergrads, when I went to Calcutta, I obviously was in a new place, etc. So I was quiet and
Yeah.
polite, but there was this thing about a new college you have Miss Freshers thingy, and for some reason the
Oh.
department voted me to represent them, and I was like, what? I haven't even spoken to half of you. So, but anyway, very nice with them. So I think I do make friends, but now that I've sort of grown up, I'm very selective about the people I engage with, because not everybody I
Hmm.
think is worth the time and energy. You want to
Sure.
associate with people
Yeah.
who really sort of care about you, help you grow as a person. That's very important to have that filter.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And you just get better at deciphering what
Yeah.
at what length you want to keep the person, right? Do you want to keep the person right close to you or an arm's length or, out the door, like say hi, hello, that's it. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
and that doesn't
I
mean
mean
that
that,
you have to cut off people. You can still sort of respond respectfully to their messages, but sort of, you know, showcase that, this is your boundary.
yeah, yeah. I choose the passive aggressive route.
Oh, this is bad. Why are you like this?
Actually, no. That part I was kidding about. What I have is I feel like I'm a people pleaser.
Oh,
So I want to be everybody's friend. I don't want to be everybody's friend. I want everybody else to be my friend. And if
hmm,
someone is acting weird and I get an inkling that this person isn't reciprocating the same level of friendship, um, I try a couple of times, and then for my own coping sake, I'm
hmm,
like, they're not worth it. They're not worth it. I'll
hmm.
so I don't know. Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
have a very bad habit of I don't know if it's a bad habit, but sometimes I don't mean to ghost people, but I just sometimes take my time to respond. And I think people who are very close to me. So you're very lucky that you got my response late today.
I know, I know. I consider myself lucky, and just to let everybody know, I changed up the time that we're gonna record this last minute, and I wasn't ghosted. So yes.
No,
But
so people
you
who
see
are
the
very
number of
close.
times I
Mhm.
said sorry on the email though. But
Yeah, I counted
like,
as once.
yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Never mind.
No, no, it's all right.
Yeah. Um so so you're in Chennai, you finish your postgrad, and after that you moved to Bangalore. How was after joining Reuters?
I moved to Bombay.
Bombay?
Oh my God.
Shit. You know I'm blaming this on I'm trying to see what I'm blaming this on. I have a half-eaten biscuit
I should have
here.
made an Excel sheet
I'm
for you.
please, please, yes. Bombay.
Hmm.
Now you have, I think, I'm just outside looking in. A city that is it's not obviously it's not like Kolkata, but if you just compare the histories and the, I wouldn't say pace of life, but just the vibe of the city, where it is a substantial city in that region of the country. Um, it is sort of similar.
Hmm.
Did you feel that Bombay was more in line with your pace when you moved there?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bombay, because I think everybody finds their own space in Bombay. Even if you're living in a
yeah,
Mara building or if you're living in a very fancy apartment, you just like,
sure.
get around. And I think the city has one of the most kindest people, I think the kindest people in the country. Because they are just, I don't know, they're very warm, I think. I remember, I used to go to work very early, and there were these couple of times, I shouldn't say couple of times, twice, I think. I forgot to carry my wallet, and I boarded the cab. And in those days, you wouldn't be using UPI as much. So I was like half sleepy on a Sunday morning going to work because weekend shift, etc. And when I was about to like get off, I was like, shit, there's no wallet. And I'm like, Bhaiya, very sorry. Give me your number. You can come, or just, wait, I'll get from someone from the office. And he's like, it's okay, it's fine. Just go. So I was like, oh my God, this is very like sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm sweet, but I just, it was very nice of them to do
Yeah,
that.
I think this is just you. It's a you thing because it's never happened with me. And I've gone to Bombay since I was born. So that has never happened. Um, yeah, Bombay, it feels like, Bombay or Mumbai, it
Hmm.
feels like everybody can, as you said, kind of make their own cocoon.
Yeah,
Because it's such a big place. It's
it
kind of
is.
like
Yeah.
New York has this thing a little bit as well.
Hmm.
Like wherever you're staying, first of all, you don't want to. That's one thing about Mumbai is, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family who live there, they live in one place and they
Hmm.
won't leave that place because they're like traffic bahut hai yaar. But jana nahi hai. Everything's like most of the things are around us. Let's just hang. If you're making that journey out, that's like a big thing. And now with the
Effort.
metro
Yes.
construction and
Yes.
everything, um, so don't make fun of me again. So you moved to Bombay,
Hmm.
not for Reuters. Reuters was Bangalore.
Yes. I was working.
Okay,
Yeah, I was working with Bloomberg Quint at that point, so I was in
nice,
Mumbai. Yeah.
nice. How was that experience? Was that your first work
First work,
experience?
of course, other than internships, first
Sure.
official work. It was great because, that's the first time you get to see like a proper studio in a television newsroom. And if you
Yeah.
have watched the series Newsroom and you've always like wanted to be one of those producers and you're getting to be that. So it was very different, something that you always have aspired to be as a journalist. And to have like real guests on your show, political commentators or any
Yeah.
personality. And there were times celebrities used to come, so you're like, as a very young person, you would like be like a fangirl, like, oh my God, this is, a big deal. So yeah, it was really quite the experience, quite the learning. And yeah, journalism, I think, is a very, very different experience from any other industry, media in general, I would say, because
Right.
your life revolves around breaking news, right? Like,
Mm.
yeah, you do have like timings, etc. But when something really important comes in, you have to be on your toes.
Yeah. Um. So just give us a glimpse of how that industry is behind the scenes, especially as someone who's coming new into it, like as a junior. Um. Is it very hierarchical? Is do they encourage new journalists to kind of give their opinion, speak up, or is it very much like, here we have our senior journalist, your job is to come in, just shut up, don't speak, learn, because I know, again, through family, I know a little bit about the ad industry, and um I was wondering if journalism is kind of similar to that.
Journalism, I think. Yeah, I mean, as any corporate space would essentially be, there's that thing, obviously, in the larger scheme of things, that's there, that there is going to be a hierarchy, there is going to be a say from the senior editorial team. But then again, I think there's a lot of opportunity that is there for younger people. So the industry has a lot of
Hmm.
youngsters because, only so many people can make it after a certain point. So you do get to have your options if you want to try new things, because industries really, like, the companies really encourage you to come up with new ideas and pitches,
Hmm.
creative things. That's
Okay.
what's encouraged. So I think they are welcoming with respect to newer approaches. But then again, I think it's also very taxing in a sense, because um, not to, yeah, but I think because there's a lot of socializing that has to happen, a lot of networking. Like, it's not
Hmm.
that this is the networking season and you're going to network just because you want to have a good placement, or it's a long term thing. You have to build your
It's a
bridges, and
constant.
for either for guests,
Yeah.
yeah, or to have your say in that show that you really want to roll. So things like that really happen.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, because after those long hours, there would be like times when you do have to sort of socialize with a lot of other journalists, have that
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah, it can be a little taxing on your health at some point, if you're really someone who likes
Yeah.
to have that personal for private life boundary.
Yeah. I can imagine it's you get done with work and then like, oh, we're going out for drinks. We're gonna meet this person, and you're like, okay, I just want to go home and
Get that story? Yes.
get that. Yeah. Um. So in how does your what's it like a day in a life of a journalist? I guess you can maybe take me through when you were a younger journalist, newer in the industry versus now. What's a typical day in life?
So I'm not a very conventional journalist in that respect.
Sure.
I'm not a reporter. I have done reporting. I have done podcast, appearing on camera, etc., writing. But I essentially have been in the business journalism space, because I think business journalism is a little less. I mean, there are limited hours. There are only so many hours that the market is going to be open for. People do not really work over the weekends mostly,
Hmm.
so I think it's a little better for the work-life balance. I've been in that space. Yeah, I think mostly been on the editorial side of things. So
Uh-huh.
essentially, I'm one of those people who are the final pair of eyes before a story goes out. If you're whether you're breaking a show, rolling a show, or sort of publishing something on the website which is breaking, or in general also. So I'm mostly on the editorial side of things. So my work, at least now, like, is limited towards doing things on the desk. And I always
Okay.
knew that it was great to sort of go out and report and interview people and all that,
Hmm.
but I wanted that sort of comfort of the desk and the studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for me, I think, if people who are looking to be an editor or a producer in that respect, it's not bad, it's fun.
Nice. Um. So when did you? You said I asked you. How you chose journalism. When did you fall in love with journalism?
I think
Have
you
you
should know.
fallen in love with? Have you fallen in love with journalism?
That's something I ask myself every day. No, I see. When I was starting out, when you're young, you're very passionate about,
Right.
doing something. And that's also because, again, circling back to my father, I think I was watching this news when I was in class seven. And I was very conflicted about, oh, what do I want to be? Very, like,
Mm-hmm.
not so practical life choices that I was presenting before him. But so we were watching a show and English news channel, and he was like, "Do you want to be a presenter?" And I was like, "Let me think about it. Not a bad idea." So, so I toyed with the idea, and that's how I think that was at the back of my mind, and that
Hmm.
happened eventually. When I was trying to apply for colleges and get my internship at CNN. So I was very passionate at that point in time. Even in Chennai, when I was doing my postgrads, we had to really do ground reporting because we had those, trips where we had to go to some remote village and, find a story there. And I remember, doing a story on child marriage and speaking to those women
Mm.
and why their families were, what were their like thought process behind it.
Yeah.
So those kind of things are very sensitive, and you have to be prepared for it. And the hours are challenging. You wake up at 4 in the morning for like a 6 a.m. show, and you have to get like all the footage before that within 2 hours. So that was a very passionate point in time in my life. Even with my first job, because I was still,
Hmm.
I had the liberty to try new things. I think my managers were very accommodating. They let me, do the television side of things and do the writing and digital, a lot of things, podcast.
Right.
Eventually, I realized, okay, this is the space that I really like, the digital side of things. And I, stuck around there. So passion was a lot there. Now, of course, it's more about, growing in your lane and,
Sure.
achieving the success.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked that question to myself as well. So I'm an engineer.
Hmm.
And I feel like and I've said this previously, like a lot of people feel there's a certain amnesia that happens and you kind of wake up from that amnesia only at people wake up at different points, but for me, I kind of woke up from that amnesia after I got my first job out of college. I'm like, okay, I've done everything that needs to be done. um I'm an engineer. I'm working in a pretty good company. I'm doing what I set out to do. Like, now, what more is life? And I would see people, in their 60s behind a desk. They've worked at the same place for like 40 years, and I'm like, I
That's
mean,
lovely.
there's a certain level of, you know, th- I can see the positive traits in someone who does that. It's like you're disciplined. You show up every day. You're gonna give it 100%. But at the same time, I was like, is this it? Is that all there is? And I think I had that bit of a moment. And then this was like 2019, so right before COVID, and a bit of an identity crisis.
No.
Um, this again might be a bit of a vague question, and might kind of go a little deeper. Um, but have you felt that way ever, where you're snowballing down a path now you've chosen? At any point did you feel that I don't think this is something I want to do? Like, did you have a bit of an identity crisis ever?
No, because as I said, I have been very structured. Okay, this what I
Hmm.
want to do, and then I want to do this and prepare for that. So I think I am very structured and I do my research. Like I was in Delhi the other day, and I had to buy a mask, and I was on like Swiggy or Blinkit, and I was like, do I want to buy a K95 or a 95? And I went to this. The company's registered. I just went all in, and my friend was like, "What are you doing? Just buy the mask." It's been an hour. So I'm sort of that person. Like, no,
Okay.
good investment. So I know, I think journalism, I love the news. And I
Yeah.
think this is something that I'll not, I wouldn't want to give up. But yes, the branching out in the space was a thought. And I mean, I consider, because I think when I was in my first job for 3 years, there were times when I would wake up in the middle of the night. I was very anxious, and I just woke up because I thought I missed a breaking news or I missed a message. This
Ooh.
probably had to go out. So those sort of moments make you realize, okay, am I making the right choice or not? And that
Yeah.
happened for like 3, 4 years. And that's when I realized, no, I probably need to pivot a little bit towards a more structured hours and, you know, a different sort of life, more editorial. That was, of course, something that I thought about, introspected. But otherwise, largely, I love the industry.
Yeah. What, according to you, was the most? I know you spoke about the story that you worked on about child marriages, but what was, let's say, one of the most impactful stories that you worked on. Um, is it that one, or were there others as well?
So,
Impactful to yourself personally, like that got you the most satisfaction.
I see. Honestly, since I'm not a reporter, that
Sure.
level of ground reporting, I think a lot of other people would be in that position to give you better insights about. But personally, that was one of the most, impactful moments. And also, I think I was when I was in college, we had to do this one story where I went to an orphanage to sort of cover that, and
Mm,
there I had a pen and I was speaking to these young children, and this one very bright kid comes up to me and she's like talking that she aspires to be a police officer or so, a certain day. Yeah. So I had the pen and I was like, do you want to keep it? And she kept it, and she was like really protecting it with all that she had. And other kids really wanted that, and I was like, it's just a pen, we can arrange for more, but we did not have that. But so then I realized that the privilege that we have and the privilege that they do not have. So that was a very eye opening moment for me.
mm,
And I felt bad and I thought maybe there should be more stories like this that should go out. There are people living in conflict zones. There's a lot happening around
yeah.
the world. And we are in our own bubble, just, consuming the content that we want,
Yeah.
which is great. But again, I think there should be more empathy in the world.
Yeah, I agree. People say like, what's the what's the worst time, or what's the worst time to be alive in the world if you have to think back in history. And um, people usually think it's like, oh, it's the 1400s, or oh, it's the 800s, or whatever BCs. Uh, but in reality, it's kind of have to signify a place as well, because there's bad things happening all the time in different pockets. There might be one place might have its best time, the other place might have simultaneously its worst time in the same era.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you're right. You're right. I mean, we're living quite a privileged life, but at the same time, things are happening right now that are pretty depressing. Um, Speaking of something that's not depressing, is Bangalore. I've come to Bangalore, and I'm right on the
Finally
mark.
reached the station. Yes.
Finally. See, I was bringing you directly from Calcutta to Bangalore. I was like, skip all the steps, just come to Bangalore.
Makes my
Uh,
edit really easy.
yeah. uh, how was that? How long were you in Bombay for before
Three
you came
years.
to 3 years? Okay, that's
Yeah.
good enough time. How was coming to Bangalore after Bombay? What were some of the adjustments and differences that
Hmm.
to
So
overcome?
Bangalore, I honestly thought I wouldn't be able to spend more than 6 months because it was very different. And I moved
Oh,
during a time which was COVID, so not a lot of
yeah.
people, not a lot of support system around me. And so in Bombay, everything is so commercialized, and in Bangalore, you travel a bit, you have this like vast stretch of land which is just trees, and you're like, am I in Bangalore? Am I in a different city? And then again, you see the urbanization happening. So it's in spurts. So that was very different for me. Uh, yeah, but Bangalore, I think one drawback is definitely the transportation, because the metro is just happening and it's still happening. So connectivity is an issue. Of course, you have your rides on the apps and all, but that is a different approach that you have to make in Bangalore. Rent and all, obviously, it's almost the same now because it's skyrocketing everywhere. But I think overall, when I crossed those 6 months, I sort of the city grew on me. You really like
Mhm.
start liking Bangalore because people are they're not rushing as they do in Bombay. They take their sweet time. You find people in cafes every evening just chilling or working on their laptops. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
people from different aspects of life. Like Bombay mostly has a concentration of people in finance or the
Mhm.
media or
Mhm.
film industry, right? In Bangalore, there's tech, there are startups, there are different kind of people. So it's an amalgamation, and people have so many hobbies, and it's just very vibrant, I felt. Weather was
Yeah.
good. So Bangalore, I really liked living there.
Yeah. And you said you were there for how long?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. So
Yeah.
wow, that's a big change. You couldn't think that you could
No,
last
from
more
six
than
months, I
6
went to
months
straight
and
4 years. Yeah.
4 years. Wow. Um, I guess out of all the places that you've lived in now, what would be your favorite place
Mm,
that if you were like, I can settle for, let's say, settle for good, like put roots down in a place, what place would that be?
so I think there's still miles to go before I sleep. You there's more to explore. Probably not. If there's opportunity to move out, which was the plan a couple of years back, that's an option. But I do think Bangalore is a very livable city. But personally, I think I'm very connected to Calcutta. Yeah, because I'll always go
Hmm.
back there. My roots are there, and like I probably want to die there. So, yeah, Calcutta is very close to my heart. I remember this one time I took a flight and I was feeling very off, and I again went to Calcutta. And then I opened my Instagram and I see my feeds flooded with like concert videos. And I'm like, shit, I missed a Cigarettes After Sex concert because I had paid for that and I just forgot about it. And
Oh,
there were no regrets because I was like, it's fine, I'm in Calcutta. So that city
yeah.
is that, so that comforts me that like that. So I really love the city, and probably that would be my option.
Hmm. Yeah. You said that you know, initially you were applying to colleges in London. Um, and you've kind of set on a path and you've done quite a bit in India. Um, are you considering moving abroad somewhere right now, or
Do you want me to
what's
jinx
the?
it?
No, no, no. I mean, don't jinx it. You can put a little whatever they
Then
put
you can
kala
interpret
kika
it.
or yeah. I don't want to be the reason you jinx it. So
No, but yeah, that's definitely at the back of my mind. Like probably I've traveled outside, I've done Europe, etc. But I do want to like experience living in a city because
sure.
that would be one checklist to tick off for sure. I definitely wouldn't mind working or studying at some point if there's an option, because I think after you moving around so much, you feel a little exhaustion. You do want to sort of slow down in life. So, but I do want to experience that at some point, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, just leaving home in general, you kind of already have all of the skills needed to cope, and plus your job itself is of such a profile that you probably uh, you do get quite a bit of exposure to just like uh, different cultures and
Hmm.
what's happening outside of India, right? So I think uh, that move. I mean, I don't think that would be that big of a like a not specifically culture shock, but just like a that significant of a move for you if you were to move out.
Yeah, I think I had over prepared myself when I was applying for
Yeah.
London.
Oh yeah.
Accommodation also, and I had like gotten that, and then I just did not go ahead with
Wow.
it. So,
You're
yeah,
a
I mean, I
born planner, I feel like. Next time if I have to buy anything, I'm just gonna text you like, hey, I
hmm,
want to buy a good
I'll let
mic.
you. Yeah.
What instead of AI.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I was going to buy coffee and I just went into, Robusta beans or Arabica beans. And I was like, shit, it's been 2 hours just to get the
Wow.
coffee.
Get the coffee.
But no,
Um
what was the question? I don't think
yeah.
it will be much of a roadblock for me because I do have friends who can sort of guide me,
Yeah.
seniors or extended family friends. So I do have insights from them as to how to navigate. And once you travel, you sort of live there for some time and you get a sense of how things are. So hoping that it wouldn't be much of a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Um do you this might come across as a loaded question, but um do you ever were there moments in your life where you've kind of just gone with the flow? Because based on our conversation, you come across as a very a person who, as I said, plans everything. And
Mm.
I relate to that because I've been wanting to buy an external SSD drive for the last 2 weeks. I've researched, I've narrowed it down to two models, but I don't know if I should get one which has a 1050 Mbps transfer or 2000 Mbps transfer based on my Mac. And now I'm researching Mac models based on what
Oh
Mac
my
model.
God.
So I'm deep in this rabbit hole. So I can 1000% relate with you because you want to make sure your choice is the right one.
Yeah.
Um, but I often have found that while it's okay when I'm looking at Amazon, um, there are times when life throws something unexpected at you. um i I- I've found that I need facts to make decision,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to improve at like making decisions without all the facts, and being okay with not making the right one in the long
Yeah.
term, not being anxious about it. Do you, again, just asking you this, do you struggle with that, or has that never ever happened to you where you had a moment where you had to go with the flow and you kind of
In this generation, a lot of people do go with the flow, if you know what I mean.
oh yeah.
But no, I think I'm also quite impulsive. I think the impulses have gone down now because
Okay.
one example would be I was on my night shift about 2 years ago and I was very bored. And I just texted my best friend saying, like, do you want to go to Indira Nagar? We have done it so many times. Or do you want to go to Thailand? She's like, yeah, cool. And we booked the tickets for next evening. And I finished my night
To
shift. I went
Thailand.
straight to the mall. Yes. And we had no plan whatsoever. We just boarded the flight. First time we are, traveling alone outside. And yeah, we just went there, landed, and everything's on the go on the apps. And we did, like, I think, north and the south in a span of 5 days. Visited like multiple places, stayed in like 3 different hostels.
Wow.
So that's also a part of like a side of me. So I can be
Wow.
fun like that.
You're the complete package, it feels like. You have
Yes.
both
To
sides of your
extremes.
brain that I
Yes.
know. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, I um I asked this question to everyone. You know, you said, based on what we spoke, it seems like your heart's still in Calcutta. Um, now
I
that
think
you've
that's right.
lived, yeah. Um, now that you've lived in so many places, outside of Siliguri and Calcutta, West Bengal, um, how has the concept of home changed for you?
Deep question.
Yeah.
Mm, so I think for me, home is a shapeshifter, right?
Hmm.
Because it can take a form of people, memories, or a certain building that you're living in. So it can be anything. Up until a certain point, I felt like, okay, this is home. This is where I have to come back to. Then it became, people. Then it became about a city. I used to go back to Calcutta. And now, I'm on a journey where I do not know again if, when I can actually go back and spend a lot of time there. So for me, wherever I am, I try to find that space. In this context, my little bedroom, and you have your like 4 pillows with you. And just you can be your own Rihanna and sing songs for like an hour or something. So that's you. And I also feel it's very important to find your own corner, even for couples, for that matter, where you can just take a step back and decompress, reconnect with your own identity. That's very healthy. So for me to have that corner wherever you're living is essentially home.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that answer. Yeah, I like the way you put it. Home is a shape shifter because, um, for many, home is people. For many, home is a particular space. Um, but it, as you said, it can be a blend of all of that, and that can change over time. Um, so I guess right now where you are, what are you kind of looking forward to next? What's the next thing for you? Where's your mind at right now?
Hmm. Okay.
So what's going on with life now, and what's upcoming?
Yeah, I mean, for me, see, when you're after academics, the goal is to sort of do get a good job, work with great brands up until a certain point, and after a point, maybe you want to focus on your personal life
Mm,
more than you have been focusing before. So I'm probably in that transition or something like that. But but for sure, you do want to do good in your job as well. You do want to
yeah,
grow. That's definitely there. As I said, the checklist is still open, where I do have to explore living somewhere else. Yeah,
sure.
different. So that's in the radar probably.
Nice. Um, and again, this is something I ask a lot of people, because I can guarantee you there's someone somewhere right now watching this who is either living a life that you have already lived, uh, or is currently kind of going through something you've already gone through. So, what would, if you had to just pick one piece of advice for this person, um, what would it be? Um, and I want to add, what would be one piece of advice you would give yourself right now? Not your younger self, your current self. What advice you would give yourself?
Hmm. I think the first advice to people from my end would be kindness rewards and kindness. Because at the start, you think that you have to be very street smart and very strong about certain things. But only after a certain point do you realize that if you are kind to people, there's a lot you can, get done. And also, like, they are also very kind to you, right?
Yeah.
So that's something, that's a learning that I've personally had. Um, and it's very important to follow that. So whoever is watching, I think that's something you want to do. And some advice for myself, I don't know what I should be advising myself. But if you know about Sally Rooney's Normal People, and there's a show on it, I was just revisiting the series the other day, and there's this protagonist Marianne who says that life is the thing that you bring with in your own head, if I'm quoting it
Mm,
accurately. So, you don't have to really feel overwhelmed with what's happening, because at the end of the day, your perception of things is how you feel about things. So,
mm,
sometimes you're very overwhelmed with what's happening in your external environment. But that is not essentially true. And which is why a lot of people overthink, okay, have I sort of performed well in this interview, or, if things are going right. So you can be in the fanciest hotels in the world and still feel lonely, but you can again go back to your own little town and still feel extremely happy. So it's a
mm.
choice that you make, and how you really perceive things. I know it's easier said than done, because there's a mental health aspect to it as well. But even then, just approach it with that approach, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. Be kind to others and yourself, right? I guess one way of putting it, and especially rickshawalas, because they might,
Mm.
like you were.
No.
Yeah,
I
Bombay
used to
Bombay.
bargain. I used to bargain before, and then I started sweet talking. It worked.
That, see, we've been missing that, the
Yes.
sweet talking.
Yeah.
I used to do the move where I used to go and um I used to speak in, obviously I used to speak in Marathi.
Hmm.
So that would first kind of be like, oh, he speaks Marathi, so we cannot just throw out any price at him. And then I used to hear the price and then walk away. It worked great for me. Now it stopped working because I think everybody's kind of like
Doing it.
doing it. But yeah, maybe I'll try sweet talking next time I go. Might come across a little creepy, but I'll try my best. um, this has been lovely. Thank you again so much for signing up to do this. First time I interviewed a journalist, so I guess how rate me. I know I performed really bad because I moved you from Calcutta to Bangalore, skipping several important points in your life. But then I recovered, right, at
You
the
did.
end.
You did well. Yeah.
Okay,
11
and
out of
my
10. I like your videos,
11
so
out of
you're doing well.
okay, good. See, nepotism gets you far. That's the
Absolutely.
moral of the story. Awesome. Thanks so much
Thank you for
again.
having me, Pranay.
Yeah, and we shall chat on Instagram. If
Absolutely.
anyone has any questions about anything, if there's a aspiring journalist out there who wants to reach out and get to know more, or just any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Chandreyee, and we can we can get in touch with you. Is there anything you want to plug? Any social media accounts, LinkedIn, an app you're building, anything?
Am I prepared for that sort of undertaking? No, but I'll be happy to share my LinkedIn, and I don't remember the
No
handle.
pressure.
I'll let
That's fine.
you,
That's fine.
Pranay know, and everybody can probably reach out if they
We
want to.
can, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's any mode of communication, we'll drop it in the description. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.